Perfect. All right. Good morning, Mystic Fitness community. My name is Melissa. Happy Monday. Welcome to our 9 a.m. live stream. We are having classes every morning at 9 a.m. in studio as well as online. So keep checking in. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you at home and everybody here in the studio, good morning. So just taking a moment to get settled somewhere comfortable on your mat. You could be seated, lying down, just whatever feels good. Just giving yourself a moment to just settle in. Taking a deep breath in and letting it out through your nose. One more deep breath in and let it out through your nose. Feeling a sense of weight, groundedness. Noticing your breath moving in and out. And your heartbeat. And if you're not lying on your back already, just making your into your back. Taking any moments or stretches that might feel good right here. So maybe a full body stretch overhead. You're wiggling out the fingers and the toes, just waking the body up a little bit. Maybe circling the ankles, the wrists. Take a big breath in and let it out through your nose. Begin to pick your right knee up into your chest and give it a squeeze. And drop it out to the right, and back into center, and cross it over your body to the left. And just inhale back to center, exhale, drop it out to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, cross the body. Beginning to take some wider motions with the hip, maybe extending the right leg long, taking some hip circles in opposite directions. Just beginning to lubricate the hip joint. Staying connected with your breath as the foundation of your practice. A few more hip circles in each direction. And then when you're ready, interlacing fingers behind the right thigh. And on an exhale, pressing the heel up to the ceiling, extending the right leg long. Inhale, pull the knee into the chest, squeeze. Exhale, extend the right leg long. 3 more times. Inhale, pull your knee into your chest. Exhale, extend your leg long. Again, inhale. One more time. Inhale, knee into chest. Exhale, press your leg out long. And this time just take a moment here and circle out the ankle 5 times in one direction. And then 5 times in the other direction. And slowly releasing your right leg down to the ground, taking it to the other side. hugging your left knee into your chest and dropping it out to the left. Inhale, pull the knee back into the chest. Exhale, left knee crosses the body. And moving with your breath, back and forth. And allowing this to turn into some more circular motions, wider motions, allowing the left leg to go a little bit longer as you extend it, a couple times in each direction. And then when you're ready, interlacing your hands behind your left thigh and moving with your breath, extending your left leg on the exhale. Inhale, pulling your left leg into your chest. Getting into those hamstrings. One more time. And on your last exhale, extend your left leg long and begin to take some circles with the left ankle. A couple times in each direction. And then you can slowly release the left leg long. Pull both knees into your chest. Just give them a squeeze. Maybe some side to side rocking motions would feel good. Getting into the low back and hips. And then placing your feet down, bend your knees. And begin to just take some glute bridges. So just keeping a neutral spine, not too arched or too curled. Activating your glutes and just slowly lifting your hips up off the ground. And then slowly releasing back down, one vertebra at a time. Let's do a few of these. Driving through the heels to lift the hips up and slowly releasing down. Going easy as we begin to make We'll do 10 more. Squeezing at the top and slowly lowering back. 5 more. 2, 3. 1 more. And then at the very top of your last glute bridge, squeeze there for a moment, and if you'd like, slightly step out the left heel and just tap it about a foot in front of you, and then step it back. Heel, step out, tap, and back down. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. Big breath in, and let it out through your nose. Keeping the knees bent here, you can just drop them to the left and back up into center and drop them to the right. Inhaling and exhaling, going back and forth. And then when you're ready, you can slowly make your way onto your side and push up to a seated position. From here, reaching overhead, extending arms long. You can shake out the wrists a little bit. And then bringing the hands to the shoulders, beginning to make some circles with the elbows. And then switching directions. Hello, everybody joining in from home. Good morning. And once you feel like your shoulders and your wrists are open, maybe letting the neck go side to side, taking some circles, just asking the body what it needs this morning. And then coming up onto your knees if it feels comfortable. If you're at home, it might feel good to put a blanket underneath your knees, a little bit more comfortable. And then from here, extending your right leg out to the side. You can have a bend in the knee or bring it a little bit more forward if that's more comfortable. But out to the side, and then keep your right hand to the outside of your right thigh and just extend your left arm up and overhead to the side. Just getting into that left side body. Might feel good to kind of snake the right hand down. Also feels really good on the right hip. It might feel good to just hold it static, or you can begin to kind of take some circles with the left arm and just explore what the body feels like in this pose. And then releasing, letting everything even out, and taking it to the other side, extending your left leg long, and lifting your right arm up and stretching over, opening up that right side body. Noticing any subtle differences on each side. As you inhale, feel the rib cage open, expand. And then releasing back to center, taking out the wrists, and then slowly making your way to a tabletop position, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over knees. And just taking some arches and curls. Inhale, let the belly drop. Exhale, press the floor away, curl the spine. And just moving with your breath. Arching and curling. And it can begin to become a little bit more fluid, so maybe circling the hips a little bit, simultaneously arching and curling. Can begin to press the hips over to the left and back and to the right and back. And then when you're ready, just making your way into your child's pose, allowing your hips to rest over your heels, stretching ahead of you. Make sure not to overextend in the shoulders too much. Just a gentle stretch forward. And if you're at home, it might feel good to put a block or a bolster or a blanket underneath your forehead. Just resetting here, taking a couple of breaths. And slowly making your way back up to your tabletop position here. Just going to establish some neutral spine, some strong core. So from your arches and curls, just imagine I'm placing a glass of water on your low back, and just try to straighten out that low back to a point where it's comfortable and you feel like you're not too arched or not too curled. And then on an inhale, lift your right hand up to the sky, twisting open. And on an exhale, thread your right hand through, across, under your body. It might feel good to tap the right shoulder down. Maybe just the thread underneath feels good. Inhale, swoop the arm back up to the sky. And exhale, cross under the body. Maybe tap the shoulder down. Inhale, arm swoop up. Exhale, cross down. And you can let yourself just rest here for a moment. Getting into that right shoulder. And then coming back up to your tabletop position and taking the same thing on the left side. So left arm swooping up like you're painting the sky on an inhale. And exhale, crossing underneath the body to your degree of comfort, possibly tapping the left shoulder down. And moving back and forth like this a couple more times. Twisting from the mid-back. And on your last exhale, thread it through and give yourself a couple breaths here. And slowly returning to your tabletop position. Taking a couple resetting breaths. And then extend your left leg back behind you, toes flexed. Squeeze the glutes. And it might feel good to begin to hover and raise your right arm here. And on an exhale, bring it all into center. Hug and curl. Squeeze. And then send back out. Extend. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. We'll do 7 more. Squeezing the glutes on the top of the inhale, feeling the core light up as you pull everything in. 2 more. Last one. And return to tabletop. Shake it out, let it go. And taking it to the other side now, right leg strong, back behind you, flexed, everything lit up, engaged. And if it feels comfortable, extending the left leg, left arm long out in front of you. And pulling everything into center on an exhale. Inhale, send everything back out. You can move a little faster if you'd like, or slow. Just as long as you're engaged, you're feeling that shaky, squeezing, heat building. 5 more. Last one, release down, shake everything out. Maybe letting the hips rock side to side, the knees open up a little bit. Might feel good to kind of flip the wrists a little bit or shake them out. And then now, from your neutral tabletop, take your left knee and extend it out laterally to the height of your comfort. Squeeze at the top for a fire hydrant. Then release back down. And inhale, send it back up and squeeze. Exhale, release down. Five more. Just warming up these huge muscles before we get into any big postures that require. And taking it to the other side now, right knee sending up laterally, squeezing at the top. 5 more. Last one. Release back down, shake it all out, and let yourself hips rest over your heels. Forehead can come down for child's pose. It's taking about 5 breaths here. And then slowly returning to tabletop position. Neutral spine. Curl your toes. And then find your bear pose just by lifting your knees up off the ground just by 1 inch. Feel that core light up. Establish that mind-body connection. And then release knees back down. Tap them to the ground gently. And then push up into your bear pose again. And this time, if it feels comfortable, you might just stay right here. If it feels comfortable, begin to lift the left leg, bring it a little bit into center, and then kick it through and across under your body for a leg kick through. You could even tap the left heel here, or you could reach behind, grab your right ear. Return to bear pose, and then to the other side, kicking your right leg underneath and across, maybe tapping the right toe or even behind the left ear. And returning back to bear pose. We'll do 2 more on each side. Leg kick through to the left, center, leg kick through to the right, and 1 more time on each side. Returning to bear pose, and then releasing the knees down. It might feel good to lift up on the knees and shake out the wrists a little bit after that. Anytime you feel like your wrists are getting a little intense, you can either come back to child's pose, take a break anytime you'd like to. Just listen to your body. And then coming back to your tabletop when you feel ready. Curling the toes, finding neutral spine, and then pushing your hips up and back for your first down dog. Pedaling out the feet here. Long spine. And slowly walk the feet forward to meet the hands. And you can just hang in a forward fold here. Slight bend in the knees. Let the head hang heavy. The neck relax, the jaw relax. Maybe some side to side motions. And then find your version of a chair pose. I like to touch my toes together, sink your hips back, knees stacked over your ankles, and then take your left forearm to the inside of your left thigh, and with your right arm, on an inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, release back down towards center. Inhale, swoop up. Exhale, release down. And 1 more time, inhale, sweep up. Pause here for a moment. And then release back down. And taking it to the other side now. Right forearm to the inside of the right thigh. And then you can let your left arm do its thing. Twisting open on the inhale. Exhale, releasing down. It might feel good to just keep your left hand on your left hip. And kind of just twist from the mid-back like this. I'll show you from the side for those of you at home. And on your last twist open, just hold it for a moment, let that heat build. And exhale, release. Let it all go, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to shin, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands, slowly step back for a plank. You can lower your knees here, tap them down gently. From your knees to the crown of your head is 1 long line. And then you can lower all the way down to the ground, hugging your elbows into your side, shoulders release down. And then inhale, you can tent the fingers, look about 1 foot in front of you, and begin to lift the sternum for baby cobra. Exhale, push back through your tabletop position. Curl the toes, down dog. Pedaling out the feet here. And you can slowly walk or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Arms extend overhead. Exhale, pull the hands to the heart. 1 more time. Inhale, all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Forward fold, bowing down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, feet step back. You can either tap the knees or not, lowering halfway down. Inhale, heart bursts open for a baby cobra or an up dog. And then exhale, curl the toes, down dog. inhale, begin to raise your right leg. And on the exhale, curl the right knee into the chest. Maybe the right knee just kisses the right elbow. Inhale, send it back up to the sky. Exhale, curl the right knee and step the right foot towards the right thumb. Setting up for a runner's lunge here, making sure the feet are hip distance apart. Ball of the back foot strong into the ground. Right leg strong. All four corners of the right foot engaged into the earth. And take your right hand to the outside of your right thigh. Push into a little bit to engage the right glute. And extend the left arm up ahead for a thunderbolt position. You should start to feel some shaking in that right glute. 3 more breaths. And release the left hand down. Don't pour too much weight into it. Tent it if you can. If you're at home and you have a block, definitely use that. This is an opportunity, though, if you don't have a block, to kind of engage your core and lift yourself up a little bit. And then take your runner's lunge twist, extending your right arm up to the sky. One more breath here. And then slowly lifting everything up, dialing the left heel down, rising up into a warrior 2. Taking a moment here to reset the feet, making sure from the heel of the front foot to the arch of the back foot is one line. Take up a lot of space here, just let your arms circle a little bit, wrist circle. Notice your core, tuck your pelvis under. Make sure your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. On an inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Feeling that long side body. And then returning to a warrior 2. Finding your side angle on your right side by tipping forward and allowing your right forearm or right wrist to come to the inside of your inner thigh. And twisting open, extending the left fingers long, and returning to warrior 2. And beginning to flow back and forth. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Moving with your breath here. Last time you're in that side angle, keep your right hand to your right shin. And extend your right leg, bend in the knee, to find your triangle. Opportunity here to lift the right hand up towards the front of the room, front of your mat. Really use that core. And then returning to warrior 2, releasing out of triangle. Take a big breath, and then you can windmill the hands down, frame the right foot, and you can step back for a vinyasa of choice. Inhale, heart bursts open in either baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, curl the toes, making your way to down dog. Resetting here, noticing how your right and your left sides feel a little different after that flow. Then taking it to the left side now, left leg extending up and back. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest. Just a little kiss to the elbow with that left knee. And then extending it back out long. And then slowly, once again, just left foot stepping towards left thumb. And using your to find your runner's lunge, making sure your feet are distance apart. Ball of the right foot strong into the back of the mat, all four corners of the left foot engaged. And really take your time here to establish that mind-body connection. And press to the outside of your left thigh to engage that left glute. And slowly extend your right arm up towards the front of the room for a thunderbolt. A few more breaths here. Start feeling that shake, heat. And then slowly releasing the right arm down, trying not to pour too much weight into it, finding your version of engagement, and taking that twist to the left. You don't totally collapse into that right hip joint, but instead use your core to keep you engaged and even. Slowly dialing the right heel down, opening up to warrior two, facing the mirrors, or the right side of the room if you're at home. And taking a moment just checking the alignment with the heels, the hips, the pelvis, the core, making sure it's engaged. Oh, there's a lot of people joining. Hi. Okay, just taking up some arm circles here maybe. Taking up a lot of space. Stretching the mat apart with your feet. And inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Doing that side body extension. And then returning to warrior two, finding your side angle, letting your left wrist or left forearm come to the inside of your inner left thigh, extending your right arm up, spreading your right fingers wide. Relax your shoulder. And make sure you don't go too far down to the point where your hips begin to sink. Stay engaged. Even just your fingers are tapping the inside of your left thigh, that's great. And then beginning to flow back and forth. Inhale, reverse your warrior at your own pace. Exhale, side angle. Oh, that's Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. Miss you. Awesome. And then next time you're in that side angle, just extending your left leg long. Again, keeping a slight micro bend in that left knee to protect it. Letting your left fingers tent on your left shin. And extending up and to the right for a triangle. Two more breaths. And then returning to warrior two. And slowly framing your left foot like you're going to take a cartwheel. And then sending your left leg back. Exhale lowers you halfway down or all the way. Inhale, heart bursts open for baby cobra or up dog. And exhale, curl the toes, find your way to down dog, however you get there. A couple resetting breaths here, opportunity to pedal out the feet. Shaking the head yes, shake it no. Maybe taking some back and forth presses from down dog to plank, kind of getting into that core and shoulder mobility. You can bend the knees. And then next time you're in down dog, when you feel ready, you can either walk or float to the top of your mat and find your chair pose, allowing your left foot arm to come to your inner left thigh. Taking that twist we found at the beginning of class, opening that right arm up to the sky. Watching for hip alignment. Take one more breath here. Then begin to center, stabilize. Place your weight to your left foot and place your hands to right above your left knee. And begin to lift your right leg back behind you for a Warrior 3 variation. And then slowly step it down to the ground. And we're going to take some lunges here. So setting up, feet hip distance apart, strong connection into the earth. And on the exhale, we're just going to tap the heel down and inhale, stand back up. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, stand up and squeeze. Exhale, inhale. We're going to do 10 more. You can move at your pace. Just make sure you're gently tapping that right knee down. You don't want to totally just collapse into the ground. Just a gentle tap so you're getting that full range of motion. Two more. Awesome. And then opening the mirrors, the right side of the room. Toes out, heels in, and begin to find your goddess pose, sinking your hips down, knees stacked over ankles. You can keep your hands in front of your chest. You can find a mudra. You can even just let them relax by your sides. And here in Goddess, we're just going to find a little bit of bouncing. So you can slowly come to the ground, take a tap if it feels good, and slightly back up. So almost like a sumo squat, but it's a lot slower. It's a lot more engaged. Tracking the movement of your hips, your knees, your ankles, squeezing at the top. Really taking your time to establish that mind-body connection. Two more. And find wherever you were in Goddess pose where you felt comfortable. Give yourself a couple breaths here. Feel your heartbeat. And then setting up for half moon pose on the right leg. Now towards the back of the room. If you have a block, you can put it about 6 to 9 inches in front of your right foot. If not, you can just float the fingers as you begin to extend the left limbs up towards the sky, allowing the left hip to open up. Flex that left foot. Should feel some shaky motions in the right leg. That's awesome. Two more breaths here. And then slowly releasing the left leg down, finding your Warrior 2 facing the front of the room. Big breath. And then you can circle the hands, frame the left foot, and you can step back for a 3-legged dog. Keep your left leg lifted. Option here to bend the knee, dial that left hip open. You can even flip your dog if it's in your practice. And then shifting forward, taking a vinyasa of choice, optionally keeping the left leg lifted as you lower down. Inhale, heart bursts open. And exhale, curl the toes. Send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. As always, some resetting breaths and emotions that might feel good. Maybe just stillness. Might feel good to kind of tap the knees down and just take a child's pose here. Always have the option of resting, returning to your breath, or any of these poses at any time during your practice. And then when you're ready from your down dog, you can either walk or float forward to find your child's pose, or I'm sorry, I wish, chair pose. And place, now taking it to the other side, so right forearm to the inner right thigh, sending your left arm up to the sky, swoop, inhale, just like we did before, and then releasing that left arm down, and beginning to set up for that warrior 3 with the right leg, left leg out behind you, squeezing the left glutes, activating the right foot into the ground. Two more breaths. And then slowly tapping that left foot down to the ground to find your lunge. Taking a moment here as always to set up, making sure you're protecting all of your joints before you take any motions. Might feel a little different on each side, so maybe you might want to extend the feet a little farther apart. And then when you're ready, just tapping that left knee down on an exhale, and inhale back up. Arms can be at your hips, they can be moving as you go up and down, whatever feels best for your practice, as always. Just being gentle with yourself. We'll do 10 more here. Squeezing at the top. Two more. Good. And then dropping that left heel down, opening up to the left side of the room now, facing the bars. And instead of goddess, we'll take our hands to our hips, keeping the core engaged. Check yourself out in the mirror if you have one at home. Make sure that your core is not, you're not sticking out too much, or tuck the pelvis under, engage your core, and then with control, slowly begin to lower yourself, hinging at the hips for a wide-legged forward fold. If it feels good, you can release your hands down to the ground. And letting the head hang heavy. It might feel good to hold this static, or you might take some motions, maybe some back and forth. You could reach over to the right leg, tap the left toes. And I had to add in some side lunges. These are my favorites. So when you're ready, hands to your hips, using your core to lift you up all the way to stand. Keeping your feet about where they are. Facing forward, not so much out. And then begin to pour the weight into the right leg and shift, almost like you're taking a squat, but just on your right leg for a side lunge. Once again, knee stacked over ankle. And then coming up to center, taking it to the left side. A couple more times on each side. Center, side lunge on the right, center, Side lunge on the left. Beginning to move with your breath. Find that connection, the flow. You can go a little faster or a little slower. Just taking your time to squeeze. Notice how your hips open, your ankles and knees. Might even feel good to, when you're down on one side, instead of coming all the way up and squeezing, you can just kind of stay in that low ninja Spider-Man pose and just switch from side to side. 2 more on each side, wherever you are. Using this opportunity while your hips are open to get into your thigh muscles. And then finally, coming back up to the top. Just taking a breath here before you begin to set up for half moon pose on your left leg, facing the back of the room. Begin to pull your weight into your left leg. And you can either use a block or you can float your left fingers as you begin to send your right limbs up towards the sky. Squeezing, completely engaged with the left leg, the right thigh. Allowing yourself to twist, to trust you got you. Open up, fly a little bit. One more breath. And then slowly with control, releasing that right leg down. Finding your warrior 2, facing the front of the room. Big breath. And then you can circle the hands to frame the right foot. Stepping the right foot back for a 3-legged dog, keeping the right leg lifted. And you can bend the knee here, dial the hip open. Flip your dog if you'd like. And returning back to your 3-legged dog whenever you feel ready. Shifting forward. Exhale, lowering halfway down. Inhale, heart bursts open. Exhale, curl your toes. Hips go up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a big breath here and letting it go. One more time. Big breath in and let it go. Begin to shift forward to your plank pose, shoulders stacking over wrists. And really just take an opportunity here to light everything up. Engage the glutes, engage the core. Feel the shaking. Press the floor away like you're palming a basketball. Imagine my hand in between your shoulder blades that you're pushing away. 3 more breaths here. This opportunity for strength. One more breath. Then releasing just to your forearms. Continuing to hold your plank here. Yes, you can. 3 more breaths. And releasing all the way down to the ground. Awesome. Finding your Sphinx pose now. Just letting your elbows rest underneath your shoulders, your gaze going about a foot or 2 in front of you. You can either stay like this or you can even begin to push a little bit of weight into the palms. Always keeping a micro bend. Might feel good to kind of open the hands out a little wider. Just stretching out that core you just worked. Might feel good to look over one shoulder, look over the next. And slowly releasing all the way down. Making a pillow for your forearm with your left forearm for your forehead. And reaching back with your right hand to grab your right ankle. Squeezing the thighs together to protect the knees. Finding a quad stretch here. Noticing the breath. And slowly releasing, taking it to the other side. Making a pillow for your forehead with your right forearm and reaching back with your left hand to grab your left ankle. One more breath. And then slowly releasing your left leg long. And you can begin to find that baby cobra one more time just by tenting those fingers, squeezing the elbows into the sides, letting the shoulders drop away. Just activating those low back muscles, squeezing the glutes, kneecaps lift, shoelace sides of the feet engage. One more breath. And release down. And begin to find a skydiver position. So almost same setup as baby cobra, except you can begin to send your elbows back a little bit further, lifting the hands up. And you can even bend the knees, feet flexed. Squeezing the glutes. And it might feel good to reach back and grab the ankles. Possibly find a full bow here. I like to rock back and forth in my bow. 5 breaths wherever you are. One more breath. And releasing fully down to the ground. Making your way slowly to a tabletop position. Taking some arches, curls, any authentic movement that might feel good here. Before making your way onto your seat, extending your legs out long in front of you. And you can find your way all the way back down to your back. Bend your knees and begin to send your legs up to the sky, like those hamstring stretches we found in the beginning. Take your hands, place them on your knees, and begin to, like you're doing a sit-up, just slowly begin to snake them up your shins to a degree of comfort, as if you're going to touch your toes. Let's do this for about 1 more minute, just to your degree of comfort with your legs extended long, sliding your hands up your shin as if you're going to grab your toe. You can even begin to sit up a little bit and bend the knees so that you have access to touch the toes. So these are toe touch crunches. So you're pulsing up and down, establishing that connection with the low core, sliding your hands up and down your shin. We'll do 20 more seconds. Letting that low core really burn. 5 more seconds. And releasing the legs all the way down slowly to the ground. Extend your right leg long, grab behind the right thigh, interlace the fingers, or even behind the right shin. And then switch, let your right leg drop and grab your left leg. Just tap that right heel down and begin to switch back and forth. Grabbing the right leg, grabbing the left leg. Right, left. We'll do 10 more on each side. If at any point you need a break, absolutely feel free to take it. Asking yourself, where is your breath? Moving at your own pace. Noticing if your hips crack and let that fresh blood just rejuvenate those parts of the body. Couple more on each side. And slowly releasing everything down to the ground. Maybe taking a full body stretch, stretching that core. And then beginning to find your boat pose. Just going to kind of burn it down here so you can find your way to your seat. You can bend your knees. You can place your hands back behind you for some support. This might be where you stay, tapped out. Don't judge you at all. I would do the same. But if you'd like, you can, so layers here. You can bring your hands to your knees. You can float one or both feet. You can begin to release the hands out in front of you. You can keep the knees bent, or you can extend the legs long to your degree of comfort. You might even add in a little bit of movement. I love to work the obliques here, just twisting back and forth from side to side, as if I'm doing some weighted Russian plate twists. But you might love to just stay completely as you are, focus on your breath, feel the shakiness. Either way, 15 seconds wherever you are, just meeting yourself with compassion. Five more seconds. And then let everything go. You can slowly release down to the mat. Let everything go long. I'm going to flip around here. Take up some space. And then pull your knees under your chest. Give them a little squeeze, side to side. Rock and roll. And then you can begin to rock and roll your way up to your seat. Legs extending out long. I promise we're not doing more core. And then you can find just your forward fold here, hinging at the hips, letting your spine go long, taking a nice in-breath, and then out-breath, begin to fold, reaching forward. You can let the head hang, the neck get heavy. anybody at home that has a blanket or a bolster, it might feel really good just in between the belly and the thighs, or the forehead and the ground. And reconnecting with your breath here. When you're ready, slowly making your way back up to your seat. Legs out long. And you can pull your right knee into your chest, give it a little squeeze, and begin to give it a little hug, and you can twist over to the right, over your right shoulder. Maybe your right hand goes back behind you to provide some support so your spine can stay straight. It might feel good to even cross the right ankle over the left knee, get a little deeper into the hip flexors. On an inhale, extend your spine long. On an exhale, twist. Three more breaths here. Inhale, extend. Exhale, twist. And when I say twist, it might not even be visual. It might just be more of a felt release or surrender. And slowly returning back to center, taking it to the other side now, squeezing the left knee into your chest, giving it a hug, and twisting over to the left, looking at the shoulder, providing some support behind your back with your left hand. A couple more breaths here. And releasing the bind, letting everything go along. And you can lay onto your back now. Your knees into your chest. You can plant the feet if you'd like, or you just, from this little love bug squeeze you got going on, you can just drop the knees over the left for a reclined twist. Let the arms go out long to the side. You can even look over your right shoulder. It might feel good to extend the right leg long if you're at home and you have enough space. And taking 10 breaths here. Slowly returning towards center. And when you're ready, taking it to the other side. Keeping both shoulders engaged into the ground. Just staying connected with your breath. That sense of earth. few more breaths here. And when you're ready, returning towards center, you can give the knees a squeeze into your chest if that feels good. And then with the knees bent underneath you, you can cross the right ankle over the left knee. And it might feel good to even float that left bottom foot a little bit, possibly even interlacing your hands behind your left thigh. Sometimes it feels good to kind of rock this whole thing side to side, massaging out the lower back. One more breath here. And taking it to the other side, crossing left ankle over right thigh. You can pull the right knee into your chest if you want. Maybe even extend the right leg long. Maybe some side to side motions. A few breaths here. And then releasing your bind, taking any other motions that might feel good for your body. Anything else, you might bring the feet together and then drop the knees open for a bound angle. Maybe a full body stretch, side to side rocking. Whatever feels good for you. Before making your way into a place of stillness, allowing the legs to go long, toes open up, arms down by your side, just wide, taking up space, palms facing the sky. Just really letting yourself ground down here. Inhale, feel the chest expand. Exhale, let it go. Beginning to notice generally where you feel your breath, what parts of the body. It might be your nose, your throat, your chest or your belly moving up and down. You could even place one hand on your heart or one on your belly, just for that tactile reminder of the breath moving in and out. This place of focus. And just scanning down, starting at the top of the head, slowly making your way down to the toes. Not getting stuck in any one area, just noticing. And just tracing each breath and out, following the journey of the breath through the body. You can even begin to count. On an inhale, 1, exhale, 2, just up to a count of 10, and then beginning at 1 again. And you can let go of the counting now or any distraction and just let your mind rest. If it's been wanting to think, let it think. Just let your mind do whatever it wants to do. And consider these words. This is from a affirmation deck that I have. It's a black-owned, women-owned business called Words to Fill Your Cup. I pull a card every day, and this morning my card said, when you are worried, scared, or stressed, take a deep breath and look around you. You are alive, present in this moment. What a blessing. Focus on everything you could be grateful for. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. Slowly beginning to bring your attention back to your body. Maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes. Noticing any sounds or smells, sensation of weight. And when you're ready, you can slowly make your way onto your side. And come up to a, you can stay there if you're comfortable, or you can come up to a seated position. Thank you for attending my class this morning. For those of you in the studio, thank you. And for everybody online, thank you. Have a wonderful week. Happy Monday. Namaste.